talk about the Nintendo Switch. We had a lot of questions in from readers. I will get to those, I promise. There's a bunch between GameSpot and Twitter and whatnot. But luckily enough, we have Pete here, who is at the reveal event. Well, I mean, not the reveal event, but the North American event in New York.
Yeah, the hands-on.
The hands-on event, right.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of questions for you. People have questions for you in terms of actually getting to play it and try things out. Just kind of want to go over basics first. Breath of the Wild released March 3rd. There's no bundles yet. They said they wanted to keep the price down. It's going to be like $300, $299. What would that become in the UK? They said like for the UK prices, or sorry, for Europe prices, check like local retailers or something.
Right.
I don't know what, so who knows? But yeah, it will be $299 in the US over here, $300. Launch lineup: Breath of the Wild,
1-2 Switch,
1-2 Switch,
Super Bomberman R.
Let's go through these. So Breath of the Wild, I think people know what it is. The new Legend of Zelda will be Wii U and Nintendo Switch.
When you play that game, you meet characters along the way. You develop a story.
And then the characters change a little bit.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
And
you'll change.
You learn more as they change.
This game has everything.
Yeah, it'll be it sounds like an epic.
Right. So, okay. That 1-2 Switch, which is a game that utilizes the Joy-Cons, which are the little like handheld remote things that attach to the tablet. And it uses them in a lot of different ways.
That would be the one people know for the milking thing,
The
probably?
milking.
They had the dual.
Yes.
For those who don't know, and so we're not just talking about milking without context, can you explain that?
So the Joy-Cons, these controllers, they have motion, they can detect motion, and they have little cameras that can detect like gestures in front of it. So some of the mini games make use of the various features. The milking one, it detects, you're moving up and down and pressing buttons trying to milk a cow. And you're competing against someone else who's milking another imaginary cow. It sounds so weird, but one of the things about this game is that when you're doing it, you're basically faced forward looking at somebody else. Now, I don't even know how people deal with your close friends, but I can't stand to like stare at Mike for more than a couple seconds before I feel awkward. Maybe that's just you, but
Yeah, lucky for you, we sit across from each other.
yeah, it's great. But imagine at a party, right? You and a total stranger are going to be milking imaginary cows while deadlocked in a stare. It's super weird.
I don't want to do that.
You'd be surprised though. It's a new feeling. Like it's definitely different than anything else I've experienced playing a video game.
Yeah, I was surprised this wasn't a bundle thing because it's sort of like a mini game compilation kind of style game, like party game, and you'd think in line with like Wii Sports or Nintendo Land to a much lesser extent, obviously. I was really surprised that they didn't. And it's like $50, I think.
Yeah, I'm also surprised. And
Party game.
Yeah, there's a bunch of mini games. It's not just milking, right? Like there's one where you have to guess how many things are inside a little box by moving it and like using the vibration. There's one where you have to like eat in front of the controller by chewing as fast as possible. There's like ping pong you can play. Like the list kind of goes on. There's a lot there. But yes, it's the showcase of technology, which you think would be a great thing for Nintendo to have with every Switch. Because then no matter where someone is, if they see Switch, they will play 1-2 Switch.
Like the Nintendo Land or the Wii Sports.
As she said, yeah. But Reggie, talked to him and he was like, well, by not including this game, we're giving people the chance to choose the games they want and we're not raising the price of the system. He equated it more to Wii Play, which was that follow-up to Wii Sports that came out with Wii. But that also came at a time when there was new hardware, the Wii Motion Plus. So I don't really jive with his comparison, but it's certainly a fascinating game.
What do you guys think of other games they announced? About were you a Splatoon fan, Callie?
Yeah, I played Splatoon. My biggest problem with Splatoon was the lack of voice chat, which I understand. But for a game where there's you can get a strategy together, you can be a heavy or you can be kind of like the equivalent of a scout in TF2. Like there's different loadouts you can do in Splatoon. There's actually layers to it. Not having that, like I would just be on Skype with people that I knew and it really limited the experience. And so for Switch, I know they have like that mobile app for voice chat. I don't know what the capability would be. So that would be the biggest thing I would be looking for in Splatoon 2. But I really enjoy Splatoon. It's fun. It's different.
Did you immediately know it was a sequel when they showed it at the reveal? Or because there were rumors about a port, right? So I thought that's what this was, and then with new weapons and characters. But then no, it's a complete sequel. I didn't play much Splatoon, so I would be the last person to know. But a few people in the office were like, "Oh, this is an entire sequel."
I was not expecting. I straight up thought it would be a port because I feel like a lot of us expected that after kind of thinking, "Oh, Mario Kart 8 is going to be a port." Which turned out to be sort of true. They get it's a deluxe edition instead, but I thought this was going to be a port, and I was like, "Nope, Splatoon." I wish they put a 2 in there.
There's so many opportunities for them to mess with the name. And this is coming, I think, September, so it's not quite a launch title.
Yeah.
To go back to what you were saying about, using a smartphone app to do voice chat. Basically, the message is if you don't have a smartphone, your Switch experience is going to be lesser.
Yeah.
Like multiplayer will probably not be a thing for you. Reggie basically said, well, if you don't have a smartphone, the Switch isn't for you when I talked to him, which is kind of crazy. His reasoning was everywhere I go, kids as young as 5 have smartphones. So who doesn't have a smartphone? So who are we really leaving out? A lot of people.
Yeah, and it feels like some of the 1-2 Switch games that are, like trying to being like a proof of concept for the tech are geared toward like the family crowd and maybe the younger crowd, and I don't see how that lines up with their, you need a smartphone for this.
Yeah, I mean, like I know, like I have nieces and nephews who are 10 and under. They all have access to smart devices, but they're not really like theirs, right? Mm-hmm. So I think for kids, it's a good means for parents to sort of regain control over what their kids are doing. Mm-hmm. Like you can set limits from your phone, like, okay, the system won't work after this time. Like you can do stuff like that. But just very curious to see them, it's Nintendo, right? So we expect they're going to present hoops that people have to jump through to do things that other platforms have figured out a long time ago. I'm just surprised that it's tying it to another piece of hardware.
Yeah, I guess I can see like Nintendo expanding into the mobile market with Mario Run, and even the success of Pokemon Go sort of indicates that the equivalent of an install base is there for smartphone users and Nintendo, but it's still really bizarre. Like a 3-year-old will use their parents' phone, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird to me.
From a business perspective, I get it. Because to your point, it's sort of like solidifying Nintendo's relationship with mobile devices, right? So even away from Switch, you'll look at your phone and still have that subconscious idea of Nintendo in your hand, right? So you'll go to their other games. But for the average person, it just seems like it's going to be a pain in the ass.
What is the overall deal with online capabilities of the Switch? Because when they first explained it during the reveal, it was kind of cloudy.
They haven't really explained anything.
Didn't they say it'll be a separate thing that will launch like a month after or something? If I'm not remembering it.
Well, I don't know about the delayed launch, but there will be a free trial period for a certain time, like 6 months or something like that. And then people have to start paying. No idea about what it's going to cost or what you get with that.
Yeah, I think the subscriptions paid subscription starts in fall.
I
wrote that story, I should remember that.
Yeah. You will be getting one free Nintendo or Super Nintendo game every month with the service.
Okay.
But I thought it expires.
It expires.
Is it like a yearly thing? What do you mean by it expires?
After the month,
it's just a month.
It's gone.
Oh, the game does?
Right.
Oh, that's shitty. It's not like a PS Plus you own in your library.
I mean, it's shitty only if you consider the fact that PlayStation and Microsoft have sort of established these new norms.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, if you think about it just if you want to be positive about it, which is, I think, healthy in some cases, right? Like,
and uncharacteristic for you.
This is a thing that will bring people together around a specific Nintendo franchise at the right time to make them feel like there's a strong community, maybe before the launch of a new Zelda game or whatever. So it does suck they're taking it away, but they are actually introducing things for Super Nintendo games, like online multiplayer, which has never been a thing for Virtual Console before.
Sure.
So that's pretty exciting. Yes, it sucks you'll lose these games, but Virtual Console games are cheap, right? $5 to $10.
What kind of
Maybe even
games
less.
would have multiplayer for Super Nintendo? Like Zombies Ate My
Mario
Neighbors?
So
and
many
Mario
games.
Kart and Star Fox.
Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Right. That's hopefully like the library of the games they release is good, like month by month.
Well, hopefully. I mean, I think the biggest question right now is will your Virtual Console stuff from Wii and 3DS even transfer over?
Yeah, that's the frustrating thing for me because I've bought many of these games
Yeah.
multiple times in my life, and so that's why it's frustrating that you don't get to keep it, that it expires. But obviously, I'm sure we're more of a unique case than maybe they're kind of thinking of people who maybe you try, Super Metroid for the first time,
Right.
and then you kind of get into the series that way, and that's why it expires. I don't know. I understand the thinking there. It's just I've paid $10 multiple times for the same games.
When I grew up, there was a service called Sega Channel through my cable provider where I could literally subscribe to Genesis games on a monthly basis. So I would get like 12 games a month that I could just play. At the end of the month, they'd change to new games. I didn't mind it. It was actually like a nice little natural way of giving me some variety. Mm-hmm. Yes, there were limitations involved, but at the same time, it forced me to try new things. So.
Yeah, because that was what I was worried about. I have a lot of like Virtual Console games, and then I know like transferring between 3DSs when I got my XL, that was a pain. Getting like all those like Zelda games I had from my regular 3DS to the XL. I'm hoping they can figure out how to streamline all of that.
They have the My Nintendo account stuff set in stone now, and that only came out about a year ago, I want to say. Mm-hmm. So it stands to reason that they've figured this out. They understand the criticisms. I would be shocked if your purchases don't carry over. Let's say that.
Yeah.
It would be a really bad PR move for Nintendo.
Absolutely.
So, and I also wanted to just kind of get your impressions with hands-on, because we saw a lot about the Joy-Con, and we saw that you can put ice cubes in it and shake it around. Did you, I mean, I'm assuming you watched the reveal the night before you went to the hands-on. What was the point of showing that?
So the rumble feature in the controllers, which they call HD Rumble, is different than what you'd imagine from a typical game controller. So the game I was describing earlier, and similar to the ice cube scenario, I had a little wooden, virtual wooden box with balls inside of it, and I had to tilt it various ways and like guess how many balls were in the box. So while tilting it, I could feel the balls like rolling down the controller, right?
Whoa.
And like hitting a certain spot. So you actually get a more tactile sensation that recreates some virtual thing in the palm of your hand. So the reason for showing that on the stream was to really communicate there's something different here, but it's really not until you get a hand on it that you actually understand like, oh yeah, this does feel different.
Do you see any like applications for that in the future with games outside of just that proof of concept?
I don't know.
I'm sure they would. I'm sure like maybe it'll be in Breath of the Wild somehow.
Oh, I mean, we're going to see it incorporated in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the key differentiators of the Switch. It's one of many, but I think Nintendo is, for better or worse, focused on highlighting the things that they're doing differently, right? I mean, for the worse, they made the gamepad a requirement for every Wii U game pretty much. This time it seems like it's softer, smaller features that they're going to highlight. So I think that they're going to continue that trend, but it just won't be as obtrusive.
In general, from your hands-on time, can you tell us what you thought about this? Just, I don't know, general terms, the Switch. How'd it feel between the Joy-Con and actually like playing it mobile, and also when it's docked and you playing on a TV?
Sure. So playing Breath of the Wild on a TV using the Pro Controller. Pro Controller is incredibly comfortable. I like it more than any other controller out there right now, which was a shock to me.
On any platform?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Huh. And the gameplay on the TV, they put me really close to it, so it's not a fair comparison necessarily, like playing on a couch. The game had a lot of jaggies. It didn't look that much better than a Wii U game. That said, I'm not surprised, right? I mean, this device is pretty thin. It's not purported to be twice as powerful as Wii U. It's just purported to be a portable game console. So in that sense, it's like, okay, Breath of the Wild is pretty much what we saw back at E3 on Switch. The difference being now that you can take it and play it on the go with the Joy-Cons and the tablet. Playing with the Joy-Cons attached felt a little strange. More comfortable than the gamepad, but still not quite natural. But if you use the kickstand in the back of the tablet and prop it on a table and disconnect the Joy-Cons and just hold one in each hand, that felt surprisingly good. So if I'm in a scenario where I can put the tablet down somewhere and actually detach those, I will do that before I will hold it in my hand.
Okay.
But when you go and you play a multiplayer game and you use the Joy-Cons as individual controllers, they feel a little strange.
Yeah.
For one, they are not the same setup. The joystick and the buttons are in different locations to accommodate when you do have it attached to the tablet. So in a two-player scenario, it's a bit unconventional in that sense. Like you have to reach over to use the analog stick kind of far.
Right. When they're attached, the analog on the right is going to be higher,
well,
right?
it's oriented vertically rather than horizontally.
Sure.
So vertical is the priority. When it goes into a horizontal fashion, that's when it sort of shows like, yeah, this will work, but it's not ideal. But that said, pretty happy with the hardware overall. It feels, unlike the Wii U and even the Wii, it doesn't feel like a toy necessarily. It feels like a really nice piece of hardware throughout the various products that are involved.
Okay. But in general, was it easy to figure out everything between docking and going mobile? It's all pretty streamlined in terms of figuring out.
Completely intuitive.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
I mean, every game just reacted as I would hope when I disconnected or connected something.
What did you get to play aside from like Breath of the Wild and the 1-2 Switch stuff? Were those the only two?
No, I played Street Fighter, which is not that exciting. ARMS. We can talk about ARMS.
Yeah, because
Oh,
that was one we were talking about.
Yeah, I'm really curious about that actually.
Yeah. So this is a game that you don't have to use the motion controls with, but that was the only way I could play it. So that's the only way I can really speak to it. And so you sort of, do you guys know Virtual On, the old Sega series?
No.
So it was a twin stick game where you had like two like flight sticks, let's say, and you had to use them to like move robots, kind of like tanks in a way. So this kind of mimics those same controls. So with Joy-Con in each hand, you tilt both hands in one direction to move your character that way. And then through various button presses and motions, you direct them to jump, punch, parry, or unleash like a super attack. It's it doesn't seem like it's an intuitive game, but give it just 10 minutes and you actually pick it up pretty easily. Mastering it is not so simple, but being able to be an effective boxer, that comes pretty quick.
I do like the idea of kind of delayed attacks because of the length of the match. So you have to actually lead someone or, you know, like actually think a step ahead rather than just like a fighting game, which is very reactionary.
Correct.
Not that good fighting game players will be thinking a step ahead, but armed especially because of the distance between the two fighters looks kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely like you get into that moment where you're like, where like time slows down and you have to kind of think about like, okay, what are my options? What are they going to do? When you screw up and you get punished, it feels bad. But when you succeed because you thought of a strategy and enacted it effectively, it feels pretty great.
Yeah, and that it was weird. ARMS will be releasing when?
June?
Because I think we assumed it was a launch title when they showed it to us.
Right,
For some
no,
reason,
it's not. I'm pretty sure it's June.
Yeah. So launch title in general will be 1-2 Switch, Zelda.
Super Bomberman.
Did you play that at all?
No, didn't get a chance to.
I'm a huge like Bomberman 64 days.
Yeah. Prepare to pay $60 for Bomberman.
I probably won't.
I know.
I don't know. Did you pre-order a Switch, Callie? Are you planning on it?
I couldn't get it. I was really busy writing stories.
But you want to?
I want to. I want to get it, but I couldn't get a pre-order. And I really want the Zelda Master Edition. I couldn't get that either.
Yeah, that's one that actually comes with the Master Sword statue. Right?
I want it so bad.
In general, I think the joke right now is that the Switch is like a Zelda machine at launch.
It's like you're paying $350 to play Zelda.
Yeah.
But you know what? Like I said before, it looks exactly like the Wii U version. So if you're on the fence and you're like, oh, I've got to play Zelda, don't worry if you've got a Wii U. Just honestly, you could play it there and be happy, I think.
I was playing Wind Waker HD on the Wii U last night, and I was saying, you know what game looks the same as this? Like in terms of visuals, like Breath of the Wild kind of doesn't look all that much better. I mean, it looks gorgeous. It's a gorgeous art style and whatnot, but
yeah, no, it's a great aesthetic. It's vibrant. It's clean. You know, it's very cartoony and charming, but it's not like a technically demanding. Representation.
I mean, you're a huge anime fan, Callie. You said the trailer that we saw for Breath of the Wild, the longer one, was very anime.
It was super anime. I was really surprised. It was like a Ghibli. I get yelled at a lot for Ghibli or Ghibli. I don't know.
I say Ghibli.
I say Ghibli. But it was really Ghibli.
It's Ghibli.
Oh yeah, you're right. It is.
It's Ghibli.
No, well, as a kid I said Ghibli, but you're right. Anyway, that's not really what we're talking about. But it was super anime. Especially like Zelda crying was like the most anime crying I've ever seen from
just weeping, but
like a
sounding
game.
like
yeah.
Like not that big a deal.
Yeah, so I don't know. That made me more excited. I was already super excited. I was gonna say I probably will play it on my Wii U just so my Wii U gets some use and so I can justify the money I put into it. But I really want the Master Edition. I might be that person who buys the Master Edition and then just plays it on Wii U. But I want the Master Sword. So like that's to give you a picture of how in deep I am with this game already.
Did you get the chance to play it at E3 last year?
I did.
IGN? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. It was like
I think I played it twice. I went back.
It was a lot of people at GameSpot before you got here, like favorite game at E3. Just like we came back to the War Room at E3 and it was pretty open demo. So we all came back and already after just an hour each with the game or 40 minutes or something, whatever it was, we were all talking about these crazy things we did that we had no idea you could do, like these emergent situations.
Well, like everybody did a different thing. So I went back with Miranda Sanchez, who's at IGN, and she did a different thing, and she picked up where I left off, and she went to a mountain that I didn't even find, and like went sailing across a lake, and it was just really cool that everybody found a different thing in that demo, and so I was really excited. Like I can't wait to explore that game on my own time and really see everything there is to do and try different recipes, and like there's just so many layers to it.
Yeah.
And that's really exciting for me. I like the openness of it. But I didn't really get to do there's mini dungeons. I like started one and then my time was up.
There's like 100 of them, right?
Yeah.
My main time was spent going out doing the stealth around the enemy camps, Bokoblin or Moblin camps or whatever they're called, then just like stealing their weapons before they could get them because they didn't have their weapons in hand. They were just sitting around a fire.
Why would they? Yeah, they're just hanging out.
That was cool. I like that a lot. And then I tried the cooking briefly. Didn't really get it.
He hums.
Figure it out.
He hums during the cooking. It's so cute.
He's like a hobbit making potatoes.
So good.
What's potatoes? Taters. Damn it.
Boil them, match them, stick them in a stew. Just side note, if you're going to download Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild digitally, this also leads me to another question that a lot of people had in terms of memory and whatnot. But Breath of the Wild, if you download digitally, will take up over 40% of the console's base 32 gig internal storage.
Yeah.
And that's not even taking into account like how much the OS takes up. So it's like think it's 32 gigs.
You're at like half already.
Yeah, and so it's 13 on Wii U and 13.4 on Switch.
Yeah.
And so that doesn't even account for how much the OS will take up. So you'll have probably even less than 60% left.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
So a lot of people asked actually, so this is probably a good time to get to the reader questions and whatnot. Obviously, I don't know if you can answer all of these, but from your experience and from your experience covering it and whatnot, they did ask, so external hard drives will be supported right at launch.
No, dude.
They're not.
No,
That's what people are asking.
No, but micro XDHC cards will.
Okay.
And I might be wrong. The limit is either 2 terabytes or 256 gigabytes. I don't even know I don't think they have 2 terabyte SD cards, but I could be way off. I think I saw that in an article yesterday and it made me scratch my head. But 256 gigabytes is definitely available. So you can buy those and you can, quadruple your space or more.
Okay. Yeah, a few people asked that. That was from Bob Jones 198 on Twitter though. He was asking
Bob Jones.
he was asking if Switch dock would support external hard drives. Then he asked if Pokemon Stars will be a Switch game.
This game's not confirmed.
It's not confirmed at all.
I think that was mainly a joke from him, but I figured I'd ask anyway. Did you hear whether there's like a trophy system in place with the Switch?
No. People suggested that I asked that, but I didn't have enough time. I'm not talking to Reggie.
Okay, because I haven't heard any news. I don't know if you did, Callie.
I haven't heard anything.
Okay,
Yeah.
because Andrew Jelly on Twitter was asking. And
Well,
That's not really Nintendo style. So I mean, if I had to guess, I would say that probably wouldn't be. Nintendo's just not about that.
What are the things that the Wii U has, like badges or something? What are the Nintendo badges? I don't know the Wii U super
I don't know,
well.
but they're
You get
changing
stickers in games that you
Stickers,
can
maybe
use
that's
on
what I'm thinking of.
Miiverse.
But they're changing all
That's what
that.
I'm thinking.
Miiverse is gone. Street
Yeah.
Pass is not a thing.
Yeah.
But again, these My Nintendo accounts exist, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Super Mario Run does have like a small achievement like system, right?
does.
Yeah. So if that's any indication,
Yeah,
maybe there
maybe.
will be.
I don't know. They don't. I know Nintendo kind of likes to put that on the back burner because
Right.
like it's more about the experience than showing off like how much you completed,
Mm-hmm.
which is just. I mean, historically that's their style. So if they did, I imagine it would be kind of more hidden or more minor.
Sure.
But I don't know.
And that was Joshua Harmon on Twitter. Thank you for the question about the trophies or achievements or a Nintendo equivalent. And then I wanted to ask someone, I just kind of wanted to touch on the price itself, which we brought it up, obviously. But Syike on GameSpot was saying, prior to the latest Switch event, was the first time I've been open to a new Nintendo console in a while. I haven't owned one since N64. I'm heavily a PC console player and haven't owned a mobile system since the Game Boy Color. But the idea of a device that combines the two sounded great to me, with Zelda and Mario to boot. But then that was until the latest streaming event. $300 sounds like too much to me, particularly with no packaged game. That's putting in competition with PS4, Xbox One, both of which have SKUs easily acquired at around $250 with a bundle game and are much more powerful. And it doesn't compete with the 3DS, which can be found cheaper. Ultimately, I'd be paying $360 for Zelda, which just isn't a big enough driver. So Syek wanted to know what you guys think of the price and lack of bundle options.
I think we talked about the lack of bundled stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Switch 1-2 Switch is a no-brainer. So that's dumb. That's not included.
Yeah.
I don't buy the comparison to PS4 and Xbox One because this is a totally different product. This is not a system that's like, hey, we're a powerful gaming system and we're going to have all the third-party games you love. Come play them here and not those other places. No, this is look, we're a Nintendo machine. We've got some really weird, interesting stuff going on that you can't do anywhere else. So naturally, you're paying more for these bits of hardware that aren't just the tablet itself. So yeah, I mean, $300 does seem a little bit high, but if you consider the cost of NVIDIA's Shield tablet, which I think is $200, basically it's the same tech. The Switch is a little bit smaller in terms of dimensions, but again, Nintendo's packaged in a lot of extra stuff. I think $250 could have worked. $300 doesn't seem too far out of left field.
Yeah, I'd agree with. I put my money on 250
Yeah.
when we were kind of getting our predictions together, but I don't think 300 is outrageous.
What do you guys think this, in terms of the Switch being kind of also obviously like a living room console, but also a mobile device? What will this mean for like 3DS and whatnot, things like that? Going
Totally
forward?
different experiences.
You don't think they compete at all?
No, I don't think they will compete at all. The 3DS is compact enough, depending on the model, you can fit it in your pocket. You will not do that with Switch unless you're stupid, because you'll probably drop that thing or sit on it. It's just too big to live inside of a pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Even then, the 3DS is super portable. It's got better battery life. It's got a lot of games built into it. You don't want to play console experiences the same way you want to play a 3DS game, which has typically tailored experiences for portable gaming, right? So maybe you only have 15 minutes on the bus, right? You're not going to want to jump into Mario Odyssey for 15 minutes when you can play something that's built to be fulfilling within that limited amount of time.
So you see the Switch more as, in terms of being mobile, you see that more as like a road trip device or like playing in a different room of the house
It's
or
a matter
something?
of it's a matter of convenience rather than its real identity. I think it's a convertible. It's not a portable.
Yeah, like for me, the main draw is I'm super nearsighted, and so my TV is like slightly too far for certain games, and so having the option to bring it closer is very different than bringing my 3DS on BART and playing Pokemon for 20 minutes on my commute and being done with it and kind of like being satisfied versus playing Skyrim and just having it closer to my face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
that makes
can't.
sense.
When I'm using a 3DS, I don't really play like 3DS on my commute or anything like a lot of people do. I can't really get into a game the same way that I might if I'm at home, obviously. But I don't know. The Switch seemed like, when I heard about the Switch, I thought, oh, that's awesome. I can keep playing something. It sounds like what I thought the Wii U was originally supposed to be, something I could
Right.
take on the go, which was my main concern with the Switch. It's really, I'm probably going to pre-order it, and I love Zelda, and I think I just want to be back on Nintendo's side, or at least I'm always rooting for Nintendo, but I want to get back, like I want to be involved again, and the Switch is my chance to do that, especially considering Zelda's launching with it. I try to play every Zelda like day one, but I was really hoping it would actually be actually like a mobile / kind of living room experience, but of course that doesn't make sense for them because the 3DS does really well for Nintendo, so why would they step on their other foot by doing that?
Right. I mean, look at the battery life. It's 3 hours tops, pretty much. So, I mean, yes, you can hook up a battery if you want, like a USB battery, and power this thing on the go. But back to your point about the Wii U anyway, about it being portable, even just within a home, a Wii U gamepad is not as portable as it should be.
No.
Like, I can never
Yeah.
get a good signal whenever I try to do that remote play. So now there's just no questions. Like you're not jumping through any sort of like weird technological hoops to do it. You just pick it up, play it, put it down, attach the controllers. That's it. There's no caveats.
Yeah, and I do want to go back to what you said about this is what the Wii U, what we all thought it was supposed to be. And I sort of see them kind of expanding on that idea and improving upon it. And I do think the portability throughout the house is part of that. Like if you're sharing a TV, if you are in the living room and like somebody else wants to play a different console or watch TV or whatever it is, having the ability to move unlimited versus the Wii U. I couldn't even go into, like, when I was in an apartment, I couldn't go from the living room to my bedroom. Like, it just didn't work. And so I think that's another factor versus taking it outside and going to a completely new location with it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
because once I played, I don't know, like Wind Waker HD, I realized, this tablet is just supplementing the experience of TV. I
Just
can see
a
my
map.
map and everything. And then if I want to be like in my kitchen next to the living room, I can play it for like a few minutes while I'm cooking something. But yeah, I'm not going to be able to take this on the bus or anything. But not that I would take a gamepad on the fucking bus, but it's still.
Somebody would.
I guess they would. But I guess speaking of battery power, Josh Shaw, former GameSpot, was asking, can you charge the cable while playing the TV, or does it need to be docked for the 3-hour battery life?
That's what I was saying earlier. You can use battery.
Oh, you did mention it. Okay.
Yeah. As long as the amperage is correct, you can charge it while playing it.
Okay, cool. And then I guess my last question before we close out this segment, kind of a loaded question, but the point of the segment is, what do you think the Switch, are you optimistic now that the Switch is announced, or do you think I don't think it's too little too late, but I'm of the opinion, like I said, it seems very much like what I thought they were going for with the Wii U, and it seems like they're going for the same audience they were going for with the Wii U.
If I was to believe Reggie during his interview where he said that, okay, our biggest failing with the Wii U was the lack of games. So if I'm to believe that he said we're taking this seriously and that's something we're addressing with the Switch, which we will offer a steady cadence of Nintendo games and third-party stuff, I think this thing will be okay. I don't think it's competing with the other consoles. It's competing for money that might go towards other gaming experiences. But I think anyone who invests in a Switch and likes Nintendo, I have a hunch that this will work out better than the Wii U.
It's felt like for a couple generations now that Nintendo hasn't even been trying to compete with the other consoles in the same way that they might be just trying to corner their own demographic. And
Right.
it seems like they're not even attempting to, compete with the power of the other consoles or the same audience.
Right.
Yeah, that's not their deal. They do totally different things, and that's why experiments sometimes fail. And so the Wii U is like, okay, we're going to try this thing. It didn't work. And so if they go back to Switch and have the games, then I'm also optimistic about maybe getting a better install base than the Wii U had. And I do think that not that it's a mobile system, but the option to play sort of handheld-esque is more palatable to the Nintendo audience. I think Nintendo's success has been on handheld for some time now. And so people who are already really into Nintendo games are accustomed to playing them that way. And so having that option is really smart, I think.
Yeah, so in general, I'm optimistic. I'll be pre-ordering it when I get the chance. I did not yet, but
I don't know if you still have the chance.
they'll have more in stock before they release it. That's Nintendo. Speaking of things Nintendo always does, don't they always just try to create the demand up front?
They're only selling 2 million worldwide at launch.
All right, well, I'll get it
Worldwide.
eventually. I'll find someone who got a couple.
Maybe.
There's 2 people in the office that got 2 each.
Oh, okay. Then you'll be okay.
Oh no, I
Yeah.
want to buy one.
You'll have to do Justin a favor.
Pete,
then.
rain on your parade, Brown over here. Just
Shut up.
All right. Anyway, that was our long discussion about the Nintendo Switch. Pete, thanks so much for your hands-on insight on those Joy-Cons and those cow udders. Anyway, for those people watching, leave us your thoughts in the chat if you haven't already, or leave your thoughts in the comment below if you're watching this on YouTube or GameSpot, and let us know whether you're going to pre-order a Switch, what you think about the launch lineup, what you think about Nintendo's future.